Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Nobody move.
Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre. That's right. The shitlords of cinematic scrutiny here to savage films with our ruthless opinions. That's what we do. We pick films we don't know what we're going to watch, and then we watch them and talk about them. So today we're here to talk about a film Condi selected from 2006, Insideman.
The Insideman.
Insideman, yes. So that's what we're here to talk about. So let's just go ahead and get introductions out of the way. I'm Ed.
I'm John.
I'm Condi.
I'm Raul.
I'm Chris.
All right. Yes, excellent. So from 2006, Insideman. Condi's pick. He'll tell us why in just a few minutes. This film, I guess we need a synopsis.
Yeah, who wants to
on it?
synopsize this movie?
Yeah, since our neighbor Kenzie isn't
Whereas
here.
Little Milk is not here to do it for us. Who wants to tell us what happened in this film?
R.I.P. Little Milk. Wherever you are.
R.I.P. in peace. Okay, who's doing it? Chris?
All right, here. I'll
Take it
give
away.
this, one of my famously great synopses.
Very thorough, they tend to be.
So a guy robs a bank. It's an elaborate scheme. He dresses everybody the same as well as all the people robbing it, and makes claims to the police throughout the movie that he's going to walk out when he feels like it. Crazy stuff happens. It's kind of about this detective or whatever he is that tries to hostage negotiate, but he doesn't do a very good job. And a bunch of crazy stuff goes down, and the guy does walk out, and it turns out Nazis.
Excellent.
It's basically it in a nutshell.
Basically, yeah, Nazis. All right, so let's see. Directed by Spike Lee, written by Russell Gewirtz.
I'm
sure that's it.
Gewirtz.
Gewirtz.
I'm sure it's like Gewirtz,
Gewirtz.
probably.
Getwartz.
That's probably how his family.
Get short and
Pronounce
quick.
Russell Getwartz. Starring Denzel, Clive Owen, Chris Plummer, Jodie Foster, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and everyone's favorite, Willem Dafoe.
So he's just Denzel now. He's like Sting.
Well, come on. How many other Denzels
really,
are
please.
there?
I guess that's true. We all know Denzel.
I mean, nobody. I mean, okay.
He should just drop the last name and just be Denzel.
That's good.
Well,
idea.
That'd be cool.
Is he not already
Unofficially,
in the popular consciousness?
I saw a poster that said Denzel on it.
I always
you just
thought
knew.
that was his initial. I thought his first name was Denz.
We thought Denzel was his initials, like he's a robot.
I thought it was Denz.
Like D.E.
Like he's
L. Washington.
he's the new version of Daryl.
Denz Larry Washington.
Yeah, Denz Larry Washington.
Starring those people. John, do you have... Oh, my goodness. Before we find out if there's any seeds and stems in this movie,
Christ.
we need to get the Underberg rolling. In fact, actually, we need to break into a new box here of Underberg, which means we're going to need to be going, oh, geez. I'm too slow. I'm too dull-witted to have noticed
I'm
your
glad
offer.
to see we have, recordings of you finally admitting that.
Here's Condi offering me a knife, and I'm chewing my way into the box like a starving rat.
No more rats.
So, Underberg, fresh box. You can hear the wrap coming off right now. Yay.
Fresh case.
Yes, excellent. All right.
You should use that wrap for fat joints.
And I can't. Oh my God! We should start smoking doobies and straw paper.
Yeah. That would
what
get you fucked
Dude,
up.
That's what the Three Wise Men
coated in
did.
Underberg.
Let's start making cellophane joints, smoking those.
Underberg.
I'm just gonna start. Kids used to do cigarettes dipped in formaldehyde.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, they were called danks back then.
Wow.
I thought it was stupid. I don't know, but dank is much funnier now. But I'm gonna start doing it. Cigarettes soaked in Underberg.
That could really do you.
Cellophane joint
that
sounds like
around.
a Beatles lyric.
Send that around to Raul.
I think it's funny
Taste
since
of
we're
it,
talking
found it.
about movies and weed, how it's always like in movies people can smoke a joint, roll out of anything. Let me just take a newspaper and roll it up and smoke a joint. It's like no, it doesn't work
can't
like
do
that.
that?
No, you can't just roll.
You can.
Well, you can, but nobody.
I'm not really a
does
bloodsmith,
it.
so I
That's
don't
my
really know.
point. I think a lot of people in Hollywood aren't either. At least the ones who
Oh no,
write scripts.
That's a cocaine town.
Oh, it's a big
Yeah.
coke town.
Yeah,
If you notice,
wouldn't be good,
cocaine is
yeah.
always very properly represented.
They
Weed
don't-
is not.
They don't. Yeah, they get the coke rules right.
Yeah. Well, what I always like in movies is when people smoke weed and then they're just like on acid. Like they're like,
Yeah, like-
what are you, my dad? Where
Yeah.
are we?
Like they're like
Are we in
hallucinating and
balls?
shit.
Woo! Yeah,
Does
it's
not
fucking
happen.
insane.
You know, I almost feel like you could maybe roll up Underberg
that.
paper.
Oh no, absolutely.
It's
That's so
almost
thin.
got.
Well, it is
to
strong. We
smoke
could
it.
go. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
I'm not saying we should try it.
Why wouldn't you try
I'm just
it?
saying. Let's say you're trapped on an uncharted desert island, and you got nothing but weed and Underberg and matches.
Yeah, I guess
God damn it.
you know what I'm going to do is probably I'm
Well,
going to
I don't-
probably actually use the
Die.
bottle. I'm probably going to try to make a pipe out of the bottle or a conch shell or something.
Yeah,
I would use the weed as bait to catch more weed.
Yeah, so much of a
catch more
deserted
weed.
island, more like an island paradise.
Party
Weed
island.
matches in Underberg. I mean, come on.
Well, you know, Willie Nelson, I mean, the apple trick, dude. I mean, you can do it with a fucking coconut. Dude, a coconut bong. You're
yeah.
filtering the shit through the coconut milk.
Did he invent that?
Willie
Did he
Nelson?
invent- yeah,
He
did
invented the
invent
coconut bomb.
No, he invented the apple
The
bong.
apple
the
bong.
apple bong.
Oh, yeah.
I used that many a time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. All
Awesome.
right. Well, Willie Nelson, cheers
all
to
that
you,
evidence.
pal.
Yeah, here's to
Here's Underberg.
the only man who can outsmoke Snoop Dogg.
Bottoms up. Yeah, it's admittedly by Snoop Dogg. Excellent. 3 minutes, 3 words.
Yeah, and we'll start with
On
you,
this
Condi, because it's your movie. So, as part of your 3 minutes, 3 words, why don't you tell us why you?
Well, are you going to do that?
Why you picked this movie?
Seeds and stems of
Well,
the
you kind of already did. The seeds and stems is who's in it.
Yeah,
and stuff.
basically.
Oh, okay.
Denzel.
Yeah.
You got Denzel. That's,
That's
all you need.
There's some other, there's a couple other people.
Yeah, that's
Here's your
true.
seeds and stems. Denzel.
Yeah, that's
Bam.
it.
All right, Condi. Yeah. So, why did you pick this movie? And then tell us what you thought about it.
So I picked this movie because around here we always want to pick the great movie that wins the theme
The
or the
wrap-up
whatever.
podcast.
Yeah.
We
That
try to throw
wins
the
at
heat.
at the Cinemarijuanis.
I really wanted to gun for a movie that was going to make it into the middle of the pack.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting strategy.
I enjoy this movie. I can watch this movie all the time, and I just want to see what everybody else thought of it. Really, it's like the Spike Lee movie that nobody realizes it's a Spike Lee movie until you actually watch it.
It's like the Spike Lee movie that time forgot.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you know it's a Tarantino movie by certain things. That's when you watch it, you know it's a Spike Lee movie right away. And in between, after he did Training Day, literally this is one of 3 or 4 gems up until when he did Flight in 2012. Because Denzel did a lot of movies in between then, and 90% of them sucked. Or, they were
He made a lot of money, though.
Yeah,
he
did
made
make a lot
tons of money. But he also made movies
B.O.G. we call him.
like John Q and Deja Vu and Out of Time. Yeah, so everybody's got to get the paychecks, I understand, and Clive Owen, always been a huge fan. Clive Owen, that guy could be really ruthless when he wants to be.
Is he in your bone zone?
He is in my bone zone, my balone zone.
Nice.
Sit up, slam piece.
But definitely, I would say, I can't think of her name. Kim Director, I think her name is. Clive
Abigail
Owen's
Wieners?
girlfriend. That's part of the crew
In this film?
in this film.
Oh,
I don't know.
She's also in a bunch of Spike Lee movies too, a lot of his
okay.
earlier stuff.
She must not have been one of the prominent characters.
But she was the only female on his crew.
Oh, the one who had the bit about because I matched the description because of my tits.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
it was actually because of the tits.
No, she's definitely in the balone zone.
Okay.
But I like the cast: Chris Plummer, Jodie Foster. Now all of them do they have their parts. Denzel can't play white people all the time. Now he could do a great white face, just not not all the time.
Oh boy.
Wow. Okay. So see Denzel in Pagliacci.
Yeah. And it was all around. It's just a fun movie. It's a good watch. It's a good heist movie. You want to see a heist movie, but it's not gonna blow the doors off of cinema by any means necessary.
It's no LaTrue.
No.
But then again, what can be? I mean, right? I think we can all agree on that.
I mean, but as far as heist movies go, I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. I think this is along in the pack of those. But really, besides The Sting and some of the older ones like that, where does it really hold up? There's all the other heist movies, and then there's ones like The Sting. But let's see. My 3 words for this would be Denzel, Denzel, Denzel.
All right.
So poignant.
Well, you know.
Very truthful. All right, Raul, you want to go ahead with your 3 minutes, 3 words?
Yeah. I saw this movie in its original theatrical run. That was probably the last time I saw it. It's a movie that I think about every once in a while, but it's not something I really want to revisit. I think this is Spike Lee at his most mainstreamiest. And it's also him, and I think it probably is most New Yorkiest, where like he brings somebody. Everyone has a wacky accent in this fucking movie.
A waxent?
Yeah, everyone is fucking silly. You get the wacky Italian guy who comes in and was like, "Hey, I was working over here." And then you got like the Armenian ladies and all the like, "Oh my God, someone's robbing the bank." Oh, Jesus.
He really hammers home the diversity.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
find
don't
here.
forget the Albanians.
I definitely worry. Not worry. I wonder if New York's like really like that though now, and
Yeah.
because it's almost
I would imagine.
cartoonish,
Right,
to
was
a
that-
degree.
At least
Is
from
that-
his experience.
Real New York or is that movie New York?
Right.
Right.
But I love the twist. But that's pretty much all I really love is like the heist part of it. Like in the beginning of the Batman movie where Heath Ledger killed himself, the heist was like one of the raddest parts. And I think this
Yeah.
movie, like the planning is the coolest part. I don't really have to watch that again. I already know how it goes down. I don't need to recreate that. But all the performances are great. Clive Owen, where the fuck is he? You know, what's he doing right now?
Hasn't he only done, what was it, shoot him up? And that's it,
Shoot
right?
him all the way up.
He's hiding in a wall somewhere.
I keep wanting to
That's where
say he was
is.
James Bond, but he
He's
was
just
not.
living at the top of a coke mountain.
Behind
Yeah.
some boxes of printer paper.
He's going to have to do a movie.
He's
to
been a
make some
couple
money to
things
keep
every
that
once in a
going.
while, but I think it's just a cut above okay. You know, it's not great, it's not bad, it's an enjoyable watch, but I don't think it's worth multiple viewings. And
See, this is where I love. I'm getting what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, I was going to say, so would you say then that if Condi's was swinging for the fences, did he hit a home run?
I think if you made a list of like top 100 most okay movies of all time, this would fall right in the middle.
God, yes. Raul,
it's-
you're in the bone zone right now.
It's a little
Most
above because I
okay.
think it's a good watch. Like I don't necessarily think okay movies are worth a watch, but I think this
one
one's
is.
at least it's interesting. It keeps you going, and you're always wondering what's going on. And I think with a heist movie, especially like this, that's the point. You know,
All right. 3 words?
Shekels fun time.
All right. Chris,
All right.
you get to go.
I didn't care for this too much. I thought I was a little bored. The dialogue just seems to go nowhere. It feels like just dialogue for the sake of dialogue. And then when they are talking about it, it's very direct and very like I don't know, it's very overt, but then it's like you don't actually know what's going on, so it's confusing. After watching the movie, it all makes sense, but I tell you, like the whole thing, I'm kind of like just not really into the pace of it. Kind of like starts out fast and then it gets really slow and then it's fast real quick and then it's like really slow and it's just kind of all over the place. I feel like
It's like sex.
people I feel like the actors,
Right,
I don't know, they're really
like
intense
it ever
one
has
minute
a
and then they're
chance to go,
calm
like,
the
any
next
more
minute
than
it cuts
one.
back to them, and I didn't feel like I was following along with anybody too much. As soon as I felt like I was with the Denzel Washington character, he does some weird shit and then I feel like, well, who the hell's this guy? Like, I don't know. I felt like I don't know. Honestly,
I don't know. I kind of felt like in some cases I didn't know how we were supposed to feel about the characters.
every character,
Yeah, that's kind of true.
every character is kind of like mysterious and I don't know.
I couldn't tell if Denzel was going to be a bad guy or not because
Well,
he
right.
almost seemed kind of dickish.
And we were talking about just earlier today about like the Jodie Foster character. And like, is she supposed to be like a villain? Like when
Right.
he gives her shit in the restaurant, she's like, yeah, like fuck you, Jodie Foster. Or is it? Or is she supposed to be like? It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. You don't know who you're supposed to be rooting for.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like any of them were good people. Like nobody's really a hero. Nobody's really a villain. Everybody's just kind of
Yeah, it's true.
like in the middle.
Because even the dude who's robbing the bank was doing it for actually an all true. He didn't rob the bank, and he was
Yeah.
in theory doing it for like a good reason. So
Right.
it's-
Yeah, even
weird.
the hostages I kind of hated. And they didn't even do anything.
Well, they're They're hostages. I mean, look, I hated Captain Phillips, and he was a hostage.
Well, I hated
Yeah.
I hated Phillips too.
What is
That's
it with you
true.
and hostages, Condi?
And, well, these
They're
hostages
they're
were, you know,
losers. Dude, that's one of the things Trump taught us. Remember McCain, dude? The guy was a hostage.
Yeah.
they were
Total
dumb
loser.
enough to get
Loser.
captured.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Dude.
There are no victims.
I think if there's one thing that we've discovered here at the Cinemarijuana Theatre is that hostages are losers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Universally.
I didn't
can't argue
believe
that.
in the scheme at all. Like, it's stupid. Like, oh, there's 2 fucking or 3 at least feet missing from the back of this fucking storage warehouse.
I
that
definitely
somebody
wanted that
nobody
too.
noticed.
Worked in for years
Like,
and years.
how come it
You
smells
know,
like
I
fresh
used
paint
to
in
be
here?
able to fit 10 boxes. Now only 8.
Nobody's
It
gonna
seems
notice.
completely illogical, like not believable.
And then he still had to walk out of the back room of a bank carrying 2 huge heavy bags. And even though 2 people noticed him, nobody actually did anything about
Which
it.
Yeah.
is very suspicious
Right.
on its own.
Like if I if I worked in a 7-Eleven, I saw a guy walking out of the back with 2 heavy bags, I'd probably stop him.
Right.
sunglasses
Right.
and a hat.
Let
like,
alone in
oh.
a bank.
See, but
And
yeah, I
then
would think
just
way less about the 7-Eleven scenario.
It manages to set no alarms off that whole time. Like when the bank closes, there's alarms. If you move, if you cough, if you fart.
They don't.
There's one.
Yeah. Well, vanilla and dry.
Oh, nice.
There we
All
go.
right. Hey,
like sex.
poignant.
All right.
A lot of sex talk
It
out
was,
of Chris
it was
today.
just like sex.
Okay.
We just
Yeah.
watched Inside Men. We were just inside Chris.
Yeah, we were. We
Light,
were.
light a vanilla candle, no lube.
Yankee Doodle.
Ooh,
Candle.
raw dog without a bag.
All right,
All
you're
right.
up.
I had a couple of notes. And actually, this maybe I should have saved this for Dank Nugs. Plummer was 1/3 of the trinity known as the Poon Slayers, the Canadian, the Canadian. They were the unholy trio of Poon Slayers was the name of the. It was Chris Plummer, Bob Goulet, and of course Bill Shatner.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
You can Google that.
Legendary.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
I'm telling
It's
you,
a
those guys.
lemon
those
party
guys,
all over
when
again.
the 3 of them would do their Order of the Triad shit, they would create a black hole of pussy in the middle of them. You couldn't, but I'm telling you, man. All right. This is interesting. The only other note I wrote actually backs up kind of what Chris says. Am I supposed to feel sorry for the hostages?
Right?
Because I didn't. Okay, so yeah, Spike Lee. Actually, it's kind of interesting because if you have listened to us, we've done a couple of Spike Lee films recently. We did Chirac for Oscar time, and we did Bamboozled for Black History Month. And it's kind of interesting to compare and contrast that work to this film, and sort of thinking of the other stuff of his that we've seen or that I've seen in the past. I did enjoy this film, although I liked it better the first time when it was called Quick Change, which was a little film that I was a huge fan of as a kid that starred Bill Murray and Randy Quaid, Gina Davis, and Jason Robards in basically the same movie, only much wittier and also darker. It had a real dark, brooding kind of sensibility to it. That I really enjoyed.
And yet it was a comedy.
And
Yeah, I was like, when
Somehow
you're
it
a
was
clown.
darker.
but I think it certainly presaged the kind of self-loathing-ish work that Murray has turned in recent years between shit like Rushmore and Lost in Translation and his
Definitely.
stuff for Wes Anderson.
what about Bob?
It certainly presages that. Really, don't get me on started on What About Bob. Richard Dreyfuss is the star of that fucking
And that's
movie.
that's
And
funny,
I love
goofy Bill Murray all the way.
But Bill Murray is just a goofball. He's just there to get Richard Dreyfuss to go over the top mad. So that's all he's. Anyways. So the point is that already.
is, What
the
About
film
Bob
I'm
is
trying
an
not to
awesome
get
movie.
yeah, well,
excited.
no, Quick Change. The point is, if you. Quick Change is the good movie here. So at first I was like, okay, and then I was like, well, it's a bank heist movie. I'm sure that's maybe there's other movies that use that same sort of setup, and so I'm like, I'm going to roll with it, and I had fun with it. I did enjoy it. There was a couple of interesting. It had a couple of interesting peccadillos, I suppose, if I'm using the word correctly, that we'll talk about in Bowls Deep. But I think it's interesting that Condi, you would say that you were like, shooting for the middle, because I think that's really kind of what you got. There was some rad stuff, and there was some not so rad stuff.
Yes.
And I'm sure I'll tuck into some of that.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
later
it's a
on.
movie I enjoy, but I know what kind of movie it is.
Yeah. So my 3 words are fair to middling. That's That's my 3 words.
All right,
All right,
2
John.
out of 3 so far.
John,
Fuck you,
take us
Chris.
All right. Well,
Sorry, man.
I like this movie. I thought it was cool. Definitely a solid mid-card film. Congratulations, Condi.
Midgard could
On-
easily hold the IC belt.
Definitely, or even the U.S. title. Thank you for
But not making Champ look bad.
impressing or disappointing me.
Thank you for pulling a Disney and playing it safe.
I did like some of the things, okay, because I do like Spike Lee. It was cool seeing him with a little more of a budget and almost like a vanilla mainstream Spike Lee film. I thought that was interesting contrast. I've seen very few of his films, and the ones that I've seen have tended to be more of the art house ones because we've been doing them for.
I think there actually is added value in this for us, though, because we so recently have been taking a look at him.
Exactly. I think on some level I enjoyed this on an extra level
because it's
of
providing
that.
contrast and like you're getting into his thing, his sort of style. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to echo. It's weird. You don't know who really is the good guy or the bad guy. Even that thing with the money that disappears with Denzel Washington, setting that up from the beginning, and like, okay,
You never know if he really did it or
right?
not.
Exactly. They don't make that totally clear,
And then even when it gets resolved.
Yeah, it's still sort of like not totally clear. You don't know who's really good or bad in this. I was actually surprised that I found when I was disappointed when the heist ended kind of so early. Like when they actually like walk out, I was kind of like, oh, bummer.
That
like,
was
it's
the
over.
most enjoyable part.
It's weird because I have a tendency to sort of root for the bad guys, and anytime I'm watching a bank hostage situation, I always want them to start tossing out bodies because they're always getting dicked around by the cops. Like you see the cops talking shit and like trying to trick them. It's like, well, they're going to start throwing out bodies, but you fucking cops keep dicking around.
Yeah.
And they never start throwing out bodies. And I'm always waiting for that to happen, and I'm very often disappointed. And I was in this movie too.
Just want to see more people killed.
That's what we're watching movies for, right? That's what I'm watching movies for.
Me too.
It's even the kind of the point, because like if he doesn't expose Christopher Plummer's character and he's going to sit on it, then what was the point?
Yeah.
To have this in your back pocket?
To expose him at a later date when it's going to be even worse.
Right, which we don't get to see
when
as
he's
an audience.
closer to death, he's already a million
That's
years
why
old.
he left the ring to Denzel.
Well, but then what's Denzel going to do about it?
Because he just wanted the money. That was how he got
right.
with him was by
he's
giving the ring to
Denzel's
Denzel.
following the ring, like the note said, for him to do. So,
But that's still, if
Is
he's
that just
going to
setting
let
up a
Denzel
sequel?
expose him, why didn't he just expose him with a paper? It's like, I have this paper that's going to expose him, but instead of doing that, I'm going to let Denzel Washington take a long time doing it.
Why wouldn't you just burn that paper too? Why was he hanging on?
Why
to
hang
that?
on to it? Why that's also the
Like,
big.
he's like, no. I want people to know if they ever find like these
Right.
diamonds,
I
I
was
want
a
them to
Nazi.
know that I got them from Nazis.
I'm a super old man. I will die unexpectedly at some point, and they're going to crowbar this thing open, and everybody's going to know that I was a Nazi. Let me hang on to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
make
it's
any
like,
sense.
why do villains reveal their plans?
Sure,
but
okay.
It's,
I can't, and I'm not talking shit because you're right. Every movie does that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. This is no worse than any of those, but it's still I can't not point it out.
yeah, no, okay.
I am glad. I thought it was going to be a MacGuffin, and we weren't going to find out what was in the first. And I'm glad at least they showed it what it was.
MacGuffin.
So, my 3 words would be, all right, heist movie. It's an all right heist movie.
Wait, was that like
No,
all right,
not-
heist movie?
all right,
That'll
comma,
do. That'll
heist
do.
movie?
That'll do. Heist movie. No. All right, heist movie or okay heist movie.
Okay.
Decent heist movie. Mid card heist movie.
So Chris is the only asshole. That's cool.
Mid-card's much funnier.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
mid
to be
card
fair,
heist
if
movie.
you're looking if you love heist movies and you're looking for a more intellectual heist movie, here's an intellectual heist movie. You
I
could
don't know
watch.
about that.
Yeah, I'm not going that far. And I picked
One
it.
thing I thought was weird too is this movie did not want to fucking end. It had like 4 or 5 endings.
Well,
lined up for
hang
it.
on. That's actually one of my balls deep things.
Uh-oh.
boy.
So,
Oh,
whoa.
don't
You
take his
went
balls.
too deep, dude. You went too deep.
Yeah.
Don't go too deep
out.
on it.
Easy.
Jesus.
Nugs, John? Dank Nugs?
Yeah, I
Nugs
got-
of Dank?
Got a
Give me the
couple.
nuggies.
Pretty much all of the interrogation scenes were ad-libbed, which is an interesting little thing. In fact, in the scene where Denzel says to the one guy that he bets he can always get a cab,
Right.
I guess Spike Lee almost blew that take because he was laughing so hard. Because he doesn't say it.
so outraged.
That's
it was-
so awesome.
So, a couple cameos. The woman who was the hostage named Marcia also played a hostage named Marcia in Dog Day Afternoon.
Was that the one who wouldn't get naked?
I think that's, I'm not 100% sure.
Same character.
But I'm pretty sure that was the one. And then
Making
also
this a sequel.
the cop who brings the pizza up to the door also was a cop who brought pizza up to a door, the bank door in Dog Day Afternoon. So there was as well as the ones they actually came right out and mentioned. There was
Like,
a couple
that's his claim to fame.
Well, they
It's
also
subtle.
do mention Dog Day Afternoon.
Well, that's what I'm
in
saying,
the
right,
next season.
Serpico.
But in addition to that,
And
there's
Serpico,
also
Do you
yeah.
think
some
for that
subtle
guy they
things
were
in
like,
there.
oh, let's see your resume of things you worked on? Oh, you've given pizza as a cop before? Oh, no, that's this part.
Yeah, that's
dude.
what I'm saying. Is that like his thing, like pizza
Right.
cop?
He's
You're
a
perfect.
specialist.
Like when
Pizza
you go
cop,
when
like
you
Pizza
go to
Rat.
his when you go like to his
Podcasting.
his website, he and he sells it's like Pizza Cop. I was the pizza cop in the following movie. I brought pizza at a bank robbery.
Is that like Loverboy when you order extra anchovies?
Yeah, yeah.
I was pizza cop. Everybody knows me.
This is the hand that reached down in the rattlers.
He like tries to muscle around anybody else playing pizza cops in other movies and stuff. Like it's
Pizza-
a union of just him.
Pizza Copto 5.
Ooh,
I'm not even gonna try to do
Yeah,
that.
that was a stretch.
And as a
that's a winner,
final,
though.
That was a.
as a final dank nug, I noticed this too. You see at the end of the movie, you see 40 ounce of the bomb malt liquor.
Oh, get out!
You didn't notice that? Yeah.
You didn't see that?
Right at the last scene when Denzel's coming home and his
That's the one from
brother-in-law.
Bamboozle,
Yeah, it's in
right?
Bamboozle, and it's also in. It was also in Clockers. I guess it's kind of a Spike Lee
That's
trademark.
hilarious.
But yeah, he's like passed out on the couch, and he totally has a 40 of the bomb.
Is that from IMDb?
Yeah. Oh yes, our dank nugs are always from IMDb.com.
Yeah,
Because I don't know shit
Thanks for
about
spoiling
these
the
movies.
magic. guys.
There you go. No, dude, people.
No,
I
it's
actually
important
wanted
to-
them to believe one of us was on set with these things. No matter the era of the film we
there
watched.
goes Chris fucking it up again.
God damn it,
Well,
Chris.
to be fair, every once in a while they're from Wikipedia, so I got two sources. I do two things in my
We're
research.
supposed to just quote sources, man.
Two things.
Okay.
We're serious journalists.
No, we're not.
All right, let's get balls deep on this motherfucker, yeah?
Cha.
Okay, I had one that actually I was going to ask that I thought of. I knew I should have wrote it down because I fucking forgot.
Some goddamn stoners.
So let's go to the ones that I did write down. All right, so let's talk about the false ends. Right, I have written down here false ends.
He said I have downs.
I have downs. I have downs, and also have written.
I always
these
thought
things.
so, but I didn't want to be the dick to say something.
These things. I'm just differently abled, or neurodivergent. Sorry, excuse me. False ends, narrative necessity, or sloppy storytelling. Now, I guess I should preface this by saying, like, not only did this film, in case you don't know what the sort of the false end is, it's a sort of thing that happens in films where you think the movie's going to end, and then
it
it
keeps
all
going.
doesn't end, and then it has maybe another point where you think it's going to end and then it doesn't. A couple of noteworthy films that had false ends. I don't know if anybody can help with this, but Superman Returns.
Return of the King.
Return of the King, not the Rankin Bass,
No, the
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson one.
Those are the only
Batman
two.
v Superman also kind of did.
Yeah,
a little
it did.
bit.
It did. That's
Little
right.
bit.
That's right. So, and there's many more. I can't. Those are the ones that come instantly to mind. So yeah, I mean, it's like, is that the audience? Are we just being dumbasses by like going like, oh well, I thought it was over, like being led along by the heartstrings rather than our minds, or should there be a better way to wrap up a story?
I think you get two. I think once you pass two endings, I'm over it.
That's
dude.
it.
I'm done.
You've lost you.
Two
I think
fake
that's even
endings.
generous, you know?
Yeah,
Because
that
the
is-
whole bit
yeah.
at the very end where he walks home and then he's like, come on, baby, we're going to fuck.
Yeah.
We
little
didn't need that.
unnecessary.
No, I
We didn't
agree.
need that part.
I agree. They could have snipped that and
Yeah.
nobody would notice or care.
Well, especially as the character has sort of been demonstrated to be a little morally ambiguous on some level. Like we all admitted, or most of us at least, that we didn't know how to feel about these people. And Denzel in particular had all this kind of shit where he's kind of an asshole and he's kind of not. Why does he get that reward?
Right.
Like why
Right.
why do we need that? Like
And the free diamond.
But to be fair, his reward is kind of garbage. Like he goes to his shitty home where his like
Yeah.
brother-in-law, whoever, some dude is passed out on the couch drinking a 40, and then he's like sharing a bed with some lady, and they're right next door to that brother-in-law guy.
Or even going to the follow up with researching The Ring.
yeah,
yeah.
the one
Like
ring to rule them all.
I feel like you've got a perfect end there where Clive Owen is kind of walking out of the bank.
And you're going to assume that he's going to
you've,
expose.
and you've got
Yeah.
the ring.
Yeah.
And you can leave that up to
Right.
the imagination. And we imagine that Denzel is going to go on down the road and bust this guy.
Right,
And
yeah.
Clive Owen is going off to some, desert isle.
Right.
Well, plus because we see who the conspirators were too,
Yeah.
which
So
is just
they-
as
right.
important. So to me, that's all wrapped up.
We've got it
Yeah.
all.
Don't give a shit at all what happens with Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
At
Well,
all.
and I thought we were
Yeah.
going to get an extra ending after Denzel gets home and says, like, hey, baby, we're going to fuck. He finds that he gets a diamond. The next day, like, he breaks up with the chick, goes and sells the diamond, and then he lives happily ever after.
Just goes right up his nose.
Yeah.
And then we just see him with that 15 grand or whatever it was from that case that he got.
Yeah, he all had that too.
Yeah.
he all
He
stole
buys
that.
a
So-
real doll.
Does anybody want to make an argument for a movie with like a bunch of false ends where it's actually rad?
Well, I always Return of the King.
It doesn't bother me in Return of the King.
Right.
How many
and
did
I think-
Return of the King have? It's been a while since. I've
Okay,
seen it.
well, okay. So first, it ends on sort of on the side of Mount
Doom.
But I guess you could presume there's going to be something after that. Then you have the bit where Frodo wakes up and everybody jumps on bed with him.
Right. Then you got the part where Aragorn bows down to him, and they do the big pull out.
Right. Then you got the part where they go back to
Pull
the
it back
Shire
down,
and they're like drinking at the fucking Fox's Head or whatever the fuck it is.
Yep.
Then you've got the part where
They
they
get on the
go
ships.
to where the ship to go to Valinor.
Right.
And then you've got
Samwise
Samwise
coming home.
getting home,
And that's the
to his
actual
wife,
end.
and that's the actual. And now
Except
to be
for in-
fair, the extended edition, one of those maybe might not have been in the theatrical.
That's true because although I do think
No,
yeah,
those were all
I
in
think
the
they all
theater.
might have been in the
Okay.
theatrical.
Okay.
The
about
director's cut
Holy
added the
Mountain?
scene where Peter Jackson drops Trow and just kind of slaps his ass cheeks a couple times before the credits roll.
That's actually my favorite scene.
I like it.
Yeah.
It kind of ties.
I heard
the
that
whole
happened a
thing
lot through
together.
The Hobbit. So
yeah.
It's tough with that though too. To be fair, because if you read the books, you know where it ends, so you at least know it's not going to end till it does something.
Right.
Like with this movie, they say right at the end because there was the 45, and they say the guy with the 45, we don't know where he is because
Yeah.
Clive Owen's still in the wall. So I had that in the back of my head that like it's not going to end till we at least see what happens with him.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, we see what happens with him, but then it does keep going after that, even for even more endings.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was tolerating it to a certain point, but then it still kept going. So even
Yeah.
for me, I was like, oh man, it's still going.
Well, I think too. I mean, a film is an emotional, even though it's a story, and it is. It's supposed to be. I mean, for the most part, a logical kind of narrative. I mean, with exceptions, of course, but you go on an emotional roller coaster ride with a film as well, and I think that it is kind of. It's like a ruined orgasm. You know what I mean? To build you up to like a cool end and then be like, just kidding.
it's not over yet.
Because you're getting prepared to check out. You're getting prepared to get out to, you know what I mean? To sort of transition from this world that you are in back into the real world, back into your life. And it's like, so I think on some level, like emotionally, you do sort of, there is a sense of build up towards the end of something. And then there's a natural feeling.
kind of stringing you along. Yeah.
I think, and yeah.
I always think it's funny if you're in a theater with a movie with false ends, you hear people getting ready to go. Like you hear
Yeah.
keys kind of jingling and like start, and
Some
they're
people
getting
get up
up,
and actually bounce.
and
So
then
funny.
the movie's not over and people got to sit back down and like put their popcorn back and fucking just wait.
I just assume it's because everybody has to pee, so they're just like, yes.
Yeah, they've been holding it. And so I guess Return of the King is the only thing where it's like not.
No,
get a
I
pass.
can't tolerate those.
Curse of
Yeah.
Chucky, I thought was rad. They did like 4 of them or 5.
Oh,
of them.
really?
Really?
Yeah, it just kept going, and I thought it was rad because it wrapped up all the bullshit that happens through all the movies, even the first one.
Right. Oh,
that's
Because it was
kinda
like
cool.
the last Chucky movie.
Right.
Pieces
So that was
kind of
rad.
has one too, but the last one's kind of rad. So
Dick
it's like
grabbing
worth
thing? It was fucking weird, dude.
it. But the bit at the end where she's like a zombie.
That was fucking stupid.
I guess
It was like what?
no, it was,
Yeah.
but it was also like the film had already wrapped up.
Oh,
Then
it was
we come
definitely
back
it was
and
definitely
see-
like a false ending
Yeah, I
for
get
sure.
it.
Then
'cause,
again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but definitely check out Pieces, boy. That
Need more
fucking-
shunting.
If you take
So
anything
rad.
away from this
getting
podcast,
it.
just check out Pieces.
Okay, my next
Condi, next time pick Pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
But that wouldn't be mid card.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well,
main,
I-
that's
is
main
that- is that
event.
what he's going for now?
I was
Like-
going for mid card this time.
That's what I'm saying.
And I like Robin Hood, I have hit the mark. Split
Okay,
that
let's
arrow
see.
in twain.
All right, Spike Lee in a mainstream context, ill-served or just fine. So one of the things that I noticed about this film is that, Spike Lee is sort of a very outspoken director in sort of matters of, race and that sort of thing. And there are a number of scenes in this movie where I almost feel where a sort of a reminder of the inherent racism in people is produced on screen in a very, I don't want to say ham-fisted, but heavy-handed way, which I thought was sort of jarring considering the movie I thought was trying to tell the story about the heist, and those were almost kind of like side tangents that you couldn't really take anywhere. They would just continuous, like, don't forget, racist. Don't forget the system is fucked. Like
Message.
Don't forget just little signposts
Yeah.
along the way to like just take you out of the story to remind you. And I don't know. It didn't ruin the film for me, but I also was like, you know. Is he doing the right thing by doing something?
Do the right thing.
Very good. Awesome. There we go. By sort of creating film in creating art in such a mainstream sort of context.
So
like
that's
this.
what kills the movie for me is like Super Saiyan Spike Lee in this movie. Throwing in every bit of like, little bits of let's show the racism here and this and that, and like every chance he could get.
I definitely wonder if he kind of looked at the script and he's just kind of like, this scene's great, but like, what if white people hated black people?
Yeah, right. Well, take for example the scene of the interrogation with the Indian guy, Vikram, the Sikh guy that worked at the bank.
Yeah.
Okay, we've already established that, or sort of, at least for us, that there were faults in this film, and that you could have sort of tightened that up, right? The runtime isn't extensive. It's like just over 2 hours. But I mean, okay, could you not have had? And it's not because I'm bothered by it. I just feel that it was not integral to the plot to have this extra chunk of conversation where they won't give this guy the dignity of giving him his turban back.
Well,
and I mean, I'm not like, I don't want to be, I want to, turn a blind eye to injustice. It's like not about that. Like, but the movie was about a fucking bank heist, and I don't know there was a bigger payoff for showing that stuff.
I think that's kind of. I mean, on some level, it's almost like Spike Lee's thing.
Yeah, it goes along.
it's his
goes
thing
right
that he
along
does.
with,
It
like,
sort of
the-
is, because
it
if
was
his movies aren't directly based on a race-related issue, and obviously, like I said, I've only seen a few of his movies, but I know the other ones that he's done. It seems like it's either a movie dealing with race,
Right.
or if not, it
Deals with it
pops
somehow.
up. It pops up. It happens.
And I think this is Spike Lee like checking in. Like I can't be as blatant like I was in my earlier films and my good films. So I'm gonna get every chance I get, every little dig in this one. Like with Vikram in this, like when any other hostage, a regular person, loser as we call them,
Any of these losers,
that would have gotten out. Like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of upset about this, but I'm gonna do what I can right now to I'm gonna table the turban thing. But let's get what I could tell these people about the other hostages.
Right.
But instead, Spike Lee wants to make it about the turban, and just like when they first start the heist and they bring everybody down to the vault area, when he has that black guy, when they're pointing the gun at the black guy, he's all like, "Why are you doing this to me, man?" It's
Right.
like,
Well,
because you're a fucking security guard to begin with, motherfucker. So you may pose a bigger threat,
So I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying. Compared to something like Bamboozled, where he's dealing totally with race and just fucking like knocks it out of the fucking park, is he not underserving both ideals? I mean, there's an old Chinese proverb, he who chases two hens will catch neither. So is he not? If his goal is
Getting
to,
deep now.
if his goal is to get across this sort of message of intolerance in society, is he not underserving that by taking time to tell us this bank heist story, and vice versa? If the point is to tell us this bank heist story, is he not underserving the general narrative of the bank heist by taking time to go into these other sort of to shunt off,
like
if you will, into these other alleyways?
He can't not do it either because it's by choice or because that's what people would expect of him.
no, it's by choice.
Like I swear,
this point.
if Spike Lee made a Star Wars movie, there would be race issues in it.
Right.
If Spike Lee made
Might make Star Wars more
if
interesting.
Spike Lee had directed Super Mario Brothers, it would have been about like how racist the Koopa Troopas were
Weren't
against
both of those movies built around race issues?
Yeah,
Well,
actually,
yeah,
I was just
yeah.
gonna
Maybe
say,
I'll
like,
get into
Star
that
Wars.
example.
Yeah, but
Look,
if
it's
Spike
just-
Lee would have directed a Star Wars movie, Ray would have been mulatto.
What
so-
about the whole "I don't like you"? He don't like you either.
It's just like how Peter Jackson drops trow and slaps his ass cheeks at the end of every one of his movies. Spike Lee has to deal with race on some level.
Well,
Yeah, but
Even though, but I mean, obviously for you, he didn't catch.
well, no,
either
but I don't
end,
feel
maybe.
that this was like dealing with it. Yes, but I don't feel the film was about that.
No,
I
no,
mean,
but-
even though there was like war crimes in the periphery.
I'm just saying, I feel like it's one or the other. Either it's about that, or he sprinkles some in. But
That's
that's
what
Spike Lee.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
his
yeah,
Spike
but
Lee's signature.
I think
Yeah.
he sprinkled too much in this movie. Like, he's showing that everybody, the diversity, as Raul was pointing out, of like New York kind of thing, but he makes it a little racist on each point. Like, so you got the black guy, you got the Sikh.
He makes everybody kind of a piece of shit.
And then you got like the Jewish dude that's all like, oh yeah, go crazy, sue everybody you want, kind of thing. Like, let's make you super Jew. And then you got the chick like, oh yeah, we're going to make you the chick with the big tits, and that's all we're going to look at kind of thing is your tits. So, he sprinkles a little bit of sexism in there. And it's really tiresome. Bamboozled was a great movie. But with Spike Lee in certain points, it's really tiresome with his, like, let's sprinkle a little bit of racism everywhere we can in here. And he could be a great storyteller, but when he does things like that to ruin what otherwise would be a good movie or an even better movie.
Well, I don't think it ruined it.
Yeah,
it ruins. That's the only thing that ruins this movie for me, is because it doesn't need any of that. It's needless.
Especially when the kid's playing the video game.
Is it possible though that if you are a person who is very sort of politically aligned with sort of Spike Lee ideologically, is it not possible that there is a certain section of the population for whom that actually would be effective?
Well, that's like I was saying. I think like he might do it because he wants to, or maybe he does it because he thinks people would expect that of a Spike Lee movie.
Or maybe he thinks that's what they're
That's
wanting.
what they want, right? Maybe it could be that he thinks that like
there's a reason they picked me to make this movie.
And they're going to want me to make some kind of a comment on stuff like that. Because I noticed, too, there was some scenes that seemed to be overly patriotic. There's a part where Denzel's walking back to the place that they've got their police set up. And there's a bunch of firefighters standing there. There's an American flag, and there's a 76, just some number 76 on the wall there. Right. And it's like you could have, it's like, FDNY, like we will not forget. Like it was such a patriotic shot. And I think that was like, there was a couple times where he put stuff in there, and I don't know if he was doing it to be satirical or on someone to celebrate New York, because it could also be, like we said, it could be kind of a New York thing.
Well, I think he's very much about New York.
Well, right, and because New York is a melting pot of all these
he wants to really paint that picture,
right.
make it that really tangible.
It is about race, maybe, but only because race comes up in New York, because New York City is this melting pot where you've got all these different races coming together.
There's that, but things like that are just like swept aside when you have that scene, but then you have a scene when Jodie Foster goes in to get paid by Chris Plummer, and she's in like the man's only place or whatever it is, and the only dude other than Christopher Plummer to have a line in that is the black attendant. Yep. There's two other white attendants in there that they don't focus on at all.
Are you saying that was him being racist, though?
Because he makes him be like, oh, lordy, man, why are you in here?
It doesn't matter to me.
You can't go talk to Mazza right now. He's getting a haircut.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Rochester.
Well, and I think, too, I think we speculated all that we can on this.
I do just want to make a note on this really quick, too.
Now that Connie went super racist, we speculated everything we could on this.
Yeah.
Well, at least on that particular part, on that particular question.
Even though there were these sort of little lessons or asides that show the need for more progressive values, I suppose, in society, this film does fail the Bechdel test.
No? Well, hey, so it is sexist.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Way to go, Spike Lee.
What
You
a
did
loser.
it.
You made a sexist movie. Thumbs up.
Way to go.
All right, Spiker.
All
That's
right.
what you get for liking the Knicks.
I've got one more question written down here. Would this work?
No.
Any chinks in this armor?
Chris
almost
almost
we already
Calling me racist.
I thought you were
here.
going to say as a musical.
No. Isn't that? I mean, that's what it's a chink in the armor, right?
Yeah,
When
it's a chink in the armor. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
The expression.
Condi made it racist.
Oh, what a surprise!
Oh, what?
My goodness.
Well, we already talked. Chris brought up the whole kind of wall thing. Like,
Yeah, like you would
anybody who
probably
worked
notice
at the
the
bank,
shit. Well,
like if you work at a place, you're there all day, every day.
Yeah.
If anybody's back room at work suddenly got 3 feet shorter, I think they would notice.
Yeah,
But
you
do
know.
you? Okay, the first person to show up, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. The first person to show up in the morning at the bank, and they're down in the supply office, and they stop and they look in and they're like, "Something's not right." But like, you're not gonna be like, "Is that wall closer?"
I think somebody would though be like, Sharon,
Well-
Sharon, this wall. Do you think that's close? You don't think we have an incitement,
'Cause
do you?
I-
Living in the walls like some thief.
I would
Okay.
think, like, even if you thought that, even if you articulated that to yourself in your mind, like,
But
you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't
But
want
if
to be
you
like,
just
I
got
absolutely
robbed, If you just got
Yeah.
robbed, and one thing, and also
they would know that they
one
didn't
thing
find
that-
one
one
guy.
thing that-
Security's going to go through
before
there.
they took out the security cameras, they brought all that shit in. They brought all this equipment in. They brought in dollies. They brought in all this stuff. They take out the cameras. Nobody questioned where all that equipment went. They brought in the supplies to build the wall,
Right.
but nobody questioned anything about that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
that's true.
saying. So if you get robbed, and also too, the cops are like, there's still one guy we didn't find.
And the bank,
And a
everybody
gun.
in the bank would know that
That-
because
and-
they'd be like,
well,
"We need to be on the lookout for
That's
a
my
dude."
point too. Okay, as crazy as it seems,
You
right?
wouldn't think someone's living in there by
No,
default.
but you would.
though.
But think of any job you've had, and you've worked that place, okay, and you've got a back room you go into many times a day, and then your place gets robbed. The next day, your back room is 3 feet shorter.
Oh no, I'd
I would-
absolutely be
no
like,
matter how
something's fucked
batshit
up
it
here.
would be, I would be like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then you would probably push on the wall.
Dude,
and
at Blockbuster,
and
we
it was
had so
basically
much shit in the
pasteboard.
office. Like, I would know because,
Paper
like, they'd be
mache.
like, "Why can I not get through the door anymore?"
You only have 3 feet.
See, I feel like
Back
somebody
room's
would
gone.
ask for confirmation, and then that person would be like, "No, you're just retarded," and then
Yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like, "Oh, back to business as
yeah,
usual."
no, and then it wouldn't
That
be
could
for a while.
happen.
Somebody would.
I don't know.
The
Well,
other
and
thing-
how many of the people that were there, employee-wise, how many of them actually go into that
Oh, that's
back
where they
room?
keep the paper.
But
they all
I'm
do.
just saying, like, imagine if your
Absolutely.
bedroom was suddenly 3 feet shorter.
You know,
Yeah, but
You
that-
wouldn't you just wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, all right, that's weird, but
That's
whatever.
to me, that's like a terrible like comparison. You're in your bedroom
People
all the
who
time.
work at a place are there
They're
all
not-
day, every day.
They're all there. They're there all day, every day. But you're not always in this.
Also,
no,
closet.
but bank employees do tend to be tenured to a certain degree.
They're
They tend
also
to be
told to look for
like,
stuff.
Have worked there for a long
They're
time.
always part of being
Not a lot of turnover.
Part of being trained to help prevent robberies is to be observant.
well,
And like I said, somebody would put 2 and 2 together and call the cops. There's a guy they couldn't find. There's a gun they couldn't find. We got robbed. We don't know why they robbed us. The back room is 3 feet shorter. I'm calling the cops.
You know the other thing.
Yeah, they know
I'm
that
calling
gun's
the
in there.
cops.
What he walks out of the bank in.
That
like,
too.
Would
That-
you, like he's trying to be like not be seen, but like, are you kidding? If I see a dude in like sunglasses and like dark clothes and a hat, like all
And 2
punched over,
giant
into,
duffel bags.
yeah, I'm like.
walking out of the back room still. It wasn't like he was in a public
How about
area.
just like a collared shirt and tie? How about you look
Right.
like you're like a
business guy.
Yeah, and like a backpack or something.
And
like,
if there wasn't diamonds, couldn't it have been like a briefcase or something, like a backpack? Right. Did he need 2 giant duffel bags?
I'd also like to point out that
there any prisoner pocketed
if
them?
he was still, like perfectly still, or like, you know, even relatively like still for a week, he's gonna be kind of atrophied by the end of that week. So
maybe
well,
he was,
they
maybe he was
showed
doing
him
super
like
squats.
working out and stuff like.
was he
in there,
working
so,
out?
Yeah.
And nobody's hearing this. Nobody's paying
Maybe
attention.
he
There's
was-
no alarms going off ever.
Maybe he knows it's all about the pump, dude, and he was in there blasting his biceps up to 23 inches
I
all
just
week.
picture like Susan in the copy room, and then you just hear like Super Mario Land very faintly from that fucking wall.
Yeah, you're like the like the Game Boy coming
Cell phone
on,
going
and like you're like what?
And you just
I
hear
am
like,
losing it.
I think there has to be a little suspension of disbelief for this caper
Little.
to be.
Oh,
Well, yeah, no,
little bit.
suspension
Just
it is.
a little bit.
It overall though, it is a pretty fun film. It's not a great film.
Not a great film, but not a bad film.
Would you call it middle of the pack?
Yeah, I
Yes.
would say.
Not based on a true story.
Definitely. I guarantee you, this is not going to have been anybody's favorite film. Maybe Little Milk. It might be a couple of people's least favorite, but
I don't know.
pretty much straight in the middle. Well, does anybody else have anything they want to toss in on Insideman before we bail out to watch whatever we're watching tonight? No?
No, I think we said it all.
Excellent.
Really.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. All right. Well, we'll be back with more greatness soon.
Yeah. So check us out, filmstain.com.
Instagram, Facebook,
Comment,
The web.
like us.
repost.
Please.
Definitely comment.
You
We're
gotta
hoping
ask
somebody
nicely,
feedback.
you know.
Please, please
Somebody,
comment.
yeah. If you're listening, just let us know.
Yeah.
If you were hearing this, please.
If you're a
Make
bot,
some
stop clicking.
Send fan art.
Yeah, we love
Yes.
that. Or slash
what
fic.
you
fic.
think we
Yeah.
look like?
Slash fic would be
Yeah.
great too.
Empreg
That's a good
slash
idea.
fic.
We should have a contest.
Yeah,
all
we
our
should.
listeners.
That'd
Well,
be
it's like
awesome.
my radio show. It's like I think of shit like that all the time, but then the problem is I need callers to make it work.
That's why
And then
it'd be
I'm
so
like,
funny.
fuck. I'm like bummed. So, all right. Well, for the Cinemarijuana Theatre, I'm Ed.
I'm John.
I'm Condi.
I'm Raul.
I'm Quiz.
We'll be back with more amazing wonderfulness. So keep it tuned to us. Thanks. Bye.
Hostages and plenty of loot, and don't give a damn and not afraid to shoot. We're sending out the hostages all except 5, and if you don't meet our demands, they won't stay alive.